Hi, this is Jim Walsh, your state representative from the 19th Legislative District. Quick update on what's going on this week here at the Capitol in Olympia. Probably the thing that's getting the most attention the last few days is the legislature's recently passed Public Records Act that separates the legislature from the rest of the state government in terms of which laws about public records, making things like letters and electronic mail, email, and text messages available to the public to see. It's a very controversial bill, a controversial issue. For a long time, the legislature had exempted itself from the laws that apply to other state agencies and said we simply don't have to hand over documents like this upon request. There's been a lot of controversy around that position, as you would expect, and this bill that was passed very quickly recently addressed some of those issues by saying, well, here's a new law that applies to the legislature and says what documents they have to hand over or not. Now, I was a no vote on this bill, although it passed overwhelmingly with very strong votes here in the legislature, not so popular out in the general public. The reason I was no was not so much because of the bill itself, which was flawed, but I think could have been fixed. I was a no mostly because of the process. Rather than going through the usual series of meetings, public hearings, discussion and debate, and then floor debate, passage, and then on to the governor to sign, this bill was rushed through. It did not receive any of the public or committee hearings that a bill normally receives. It was voted on almost instantly and then passed on to the governor to sign. I thought that this hurried process just wasn't good. It wasn't good politics, and it wasn't good principle. It certainly conforms to the worst fears that many voters have, that the political system is kind of fixed and rigged, and lots of legislation gets passed quickly or under the cover of night. And it sort of plays into those concerns people have. So I was a no. It'll be interesting to see what happens at this point with this bill. The governor could veto it. He has 5 days to do so. If he doesn't veto it, the bill will pass into law automatically, and the public outrage about not so much what the bill said, but how it was done is going to continue. So if you're concerned about that bill, feel free to contact my webpage or my office by email or phone, and we can discuss more. Another thing that happened this week that's of some importance is we passed a Washington state version of a Voting Rights Act. This again was a very controversial vote. The Voting Rights Act is designed to give people who are unsatisfied with the outcomes of local elections a legal platform on which they can sue and demand that local jurisdictions change the way they handle their elections. I was, again, a no on this bill. It was very flawed. And one of the things that I pointed out and that I feel strongly about is that this Voting Rights Act bill really discriminates particularly against small jurisdictions, basically small towns, small school districts. The weight of legal compliance that's in the bill is very heavy. Now, a big city, your Seattle or your Tacoma or your Spokane, can probably handle that cost of administration. But a small town like Aberdeen, or even smaller than Aberdeen, like Hoquiam or Forks or Sequim or Kelso, may have trouble bearing the cost of the administrative kind of bureaucratic compliance issues that are required by the law. I'm concerned about those small towns, and I'm going to continue to try to get them some kind of relief under this law, either an exemption or at least some forbearance on handling the costs of administration. The other thing that's going on this week in the last few days have been the passage of our supplemental budgets. Remember, 3 of them: operating, transportation, capital construction. We've passed them all through the House, which is a good thing. No delays this time on them. But I'll talk a little bit more about those in our next video update, because when you get into the weeds on the budget, it can take some time. That's what's gone on this week in Olympia, and I look forward to hearing from you and talking to you again in about a week or so. See you later.